So Matthew Blair asked me to make a Kobudo or weapons video about the weapons I use and the companies, some of the companies I use to purchase my weapons from. I'm going to expand on that Matthew's idea a little bit, but I'm just scanning now around my dojo so you can see all the various weapons that are up, okay? They're all used, nothing's for show, okay? They're all practiced, some more than others, all right? Again, we go to the back. Well, we'll see even here we have Sansetsukon, okay? Then as we go to the back here, you'll see we have most of our staff weapons, okay? Including rattan for kumi practice, hardwood for kata practice. That aluminum bow you see there is about 5 or 6 pounds, okay? And then you see we have various Jo, Bodor, Nunti, Naginata, all right? And then here we have Saruchan, okay, and also Bolo from Argentina, South America, okay? Here we have a turtle shell shield and Tinbei, which we don't practice in Mariyoshi Kobudo, but my students brought me this as a gift. So I hang it in the dojo because it's beautiful, made by Don Chaplin, the late Don Chaplin sensei. So back here you can see we have Tinbei, the Mariyoshi style shields, okay? The one on the right is my coat of arms. The other one is the traditional way the Mariyoshi group paints the shield, okay? And I'll show those and describe them in detail in this video, all right? So let's take a look at the various weapons I use, which ones I like, which ones I don't like. Let's talk about some various Kobudo weapons. So for the purpose of this video, we're going to hit on the Kobudo weapons, all right? So as you can see, we have a wide array of various weapons here on the floor. So we'll take them one at a time, all right? Let's start with Nunchaku. So with the Nunchaku, we have 4 pair of Nunchaku here, okay? So this pair here, over my finger, is a Shiredo pair. Shiredo pair of Nunchaku. Had them years, okay? They're great, all right? But again, this is an older pair, all right? When I say older, I'm not even sure, but it's they're pretty old, okay? Craftsmanship, fantastic. Highly recommend them, all right? These are Kobudo. I'm not even sure where I got them from, but I think I got them from one of the major supplies, maybe even Dolan Sports, which is an old supply company in New Jersey a long, long time ago. Just makes me old, all right? I've restrung them, okay? With a Nunchaku, you want the 3 strings. So I've restrung them. Million YouTube videos teaching you how to restring the Nunchaku. So great idea. So these are great, sadly unavailable anymore. Shiredo used to make a pair out of kokutan. Sadly unavailable anymore. They don't use that wood. Okay. This is another old pair. This is, I believe, from Kemco, which is a company that was on the scene for a while and then disappeared. Okay. They didn't last too long. Some of their weapons were good. Some of their weapons weren't. Their Nunchaku were excellent. I've got 2 pair of their Purple Heart ones here and a couple in the back pair of their Hickory. All right. They've got to be 20 years old at least. Okay. So had them a long time. They've lasted. All right. And they're fantastic. Okay. I know there's a company out there. I think it's usnunchaku.com. They look like they make very nice Nunchaku. I'm planning on ordering from them. I haven't yet. After I order from them, maybe I'll bring it up in a future video, okay? So these Nunchaku, all right? These I make myself out of the rattan kumi bows. When the rattan starts to go and get frayed, I chop it into pieces and I make kumi Nunchaku. String them myself, no big deal, okay? You don't want to be, okay, if you're spending 50, 60 bucks on a pair of Nunchaku, you don't want to be using those for your kumi practice. If you're using those for your kumi practice, they're going to get banged up, okay? And now you're going to be spending 50, 60 bucks every couple of months, okay? You make yourself a pair of these. out of rattan or whatever, all right? And these will last you a really, really long time. And you beat the hell out of them, and when they fray and they're no good, you throw them out and you make yourself another pair, okay? I mean, look, it's not hard. You know, you chop saw, all right? You drill, okay? You just dig out the furrow in here to do, and it's no big deal. It's not that big deal. The first time you make them, of course, it's a little difficult, but as you do it more and more, it gets easier and easier. So if you're going to do kumiwaza like we do a lot of in this dojo, partner practice, you want to have a pair of these. Don't be banging up your good weapons, okay? There's no reason for it, all right? So avoid that beating on the nunchaku, okay? Let's talk about various Tekko. Okay, so we've got a bunch of them here. All right. This pair was made by a man by the name of Les Parker out of Colorado. I don't know if he's still making stuff. We had ordered, he had made us a bunch of Tonfa and Tekko, and I added the wrap. All right, I prefer the wrap on there for myself. Excellent quality from Les Parker. Okay. Here's another pair of, I believe, Kempo, Tekko, Techu, okay, whatever you want to call them, okay. So, again, these are excellent. They're over 20 years old, maybe 25 years old. They've lasted, they're great, okay. So sometimes I do the Tekko form with these, sometimes I do Tekko, all right, with the regular metal Tekko that resemble the horse stirrup, okay. Then got these. Fred Los made these for me. We call these Chizukunbo. So they, the rope goes around your middle finger. This is from a kata that Kimo Wall Sensei taught. Okay, again, can make these yourselves. Then one of my handier students decided to make a pair for himself where he did this, where he put the metal points on the end and then attached the leather thong in the center. So these are really nice, okay? And of course, once we saw that pair that he made for himself, we twisted his arm to make a whole bunch of pairs for us in the dojo. So these are various ones you could do, but this one obviously can make yourself. It's a dowel. You just round off the edges. If you want to make them pointy, you could do that. And then we have the string here, right? Knots on the side to prevent the string. String breaks, you replace it. No big deal. Okay, so that's the Tekko. All right. Okay, let's talk kama. Okay, we'll talk these two pair first. So these are what I call like the cheapos. These you can get at Century. All right. When someone's first starting kama training, it's probably a good idea to use an unsharpened pair. These are not sharp, okay? So, you know, am I real happy with the design? No, but again, first pair, unsharpened till people get a handle on the form, because kama, very dangerous. I cut myself years ago. So, you know, the joke on Okinawa is if you practice kama, you're gonna cut yourself, okay? It's just the nature of the beast. All right. So again, cheap pair. It's not. These aren't expensive. These are from Century. All right. This is a pair from Shiredo. I don't know if they still make these. These are all wood. Okay. But they're nice. They're really nice. And a lot of times, if I'm traveling and I don't want to bring real kama, I just throw these in my suitcase. They're made of wood. Nobody bothers me. It's just pieces of wood, right? But they're nice. The balance isn't bad. I mean, they're pretty good. So again, I don't know if Shiredo still makes them. This pair are kind of old. Again, you know, I've been going to Okinawa since '91, so I don't know when I got them, but it was one of my early trips. All right. So that's another type of pair. Okay. So let's talk about a real pair of kama. Okay. So these are real kama. Okay, I made the covers just because I don't like the blades being out, you know, with kids and stuff in the dojo. So let me put this one down. Okay, so take the cover off. Okay, so these are real kama. Now what I like about these, they have the little flare in the bottom, so it lets you grip a little bit better. Okay, so these are razor sharp. Okay, trust me, they're razor sharp. If you'd like me to do a piece of paper, but they're razor sharp. All right. Where did I buy these? I bought these in an Okinawan hardware store. Okay. Hardware store. Not Shiredo. Okay. Not anywhere else. A hardware store. I think they ran me about $20 when I bought them several years ago. All right. So in Okinawa, it's still a farming tool. You want to buy kama, go in a hardware store. All right. The Shiredo kama, I do have a pair, but I don't have them handy. All right. They're no good. Okay. So Shiredo kama, absolutely no good for kama practice. They're too heavy. They're too clunky. Okay. So you want to have a real pair of kama from a hardware store. These are nice and light. And, keep in mind with kama, this idea that you're going to block with the blade and no, the blade's for cutting. You cut into a bow, the bow's going to yank it, the blade's going to break. This is not, not a hard weapon, okay? Again, it's a farming tool. It's not designed to cut something that's hard, okay? It's designed to cut flesh, all right? So it should be light, and when you move, it should be about cutting. The part you block with is the wood handle, and I wouldn't even call it a block. You're deflecting the other weapon, okay? So you wanna get that kind of kama from a hardware store, all right? I'll give you a secret. Bud K, which is a knife company, you can get real kama from Bud K. And they're the same kama you get in a hardware store, okay? They don't necessarily have this flare at the bottom, but they're a great first pair of kama. They're sharp, they're razor sharp, okay? A bunch of my students got them. They literally run about $20 a pair. So budk.com, you can get a pair of Okinawan kama there that are right out of the Okinawan hardware store, okay? So you can check it out, all right? Okay. Machete. So again, in Mariyoshi Kobudo, we use a machete, all right? We don't use the rochin, the short spear, okay? This is my Gerber machete that I bought at either, I think, Cabela's or Bass Pro Shops, okay? It's a real machete. So when I'm doing the kata and I want to work with a real blade, I use this, okay? I also have an unsharpened metal machete. So again, if I'm working the kata in the class and there's other people in the room, I don't like to necessarily use real sharp weapons, okay? I don't care who you are. Could fly out of your hand, could drop it, could go across, cut somebody. So if I'm by myself out here training, that's when I use the real weapons, the real blades. And then if I cut somebody, it's only going to be me. It's not going to be someone else. I attended a tournament years ago. A guy was doing a kama kata, and he stepped back, and the kama went flying out of his hand, spinning like this, and landed in the audience. Luckily, it wasn't a sharp pair. It was one of the ones from Century. But still, the point is there. Could have hit somebody, could have hurt somebody. Luckily, it didn't. All right. But with real weapons, you want to be careful. So any machete, what you like. Okay. I also have one that's made out of wood. So sometimes I use the one, and sometimes I'll use a short sword from, a short samurai sword as my machete. Other times in Mariyoshi Kobudo, I have butterfly swords, Chinese butterfly swords. I'll use one of them as my sword for the Tinbei form. So you can have fun and play around with that, all right? So again, Gerber, excellent blade if you want to get a good real one, all right? So that's the machete, all right? Okay, let's talk sai. Okay. These are a pair of original weapons connection sais that Sensei Peter Carbone makes, okay? I think they're fine. The balance is a little wonky, okay? And they're very expensive, all right? We had bought a bunch of them years ago, and eventually all my students were like, they're too heavy. They're just too heavy. They say that this sai is the energy sai of Agina. That's just a marketing ploy, so don't buy into it. They say that you have to use this sai if you're an Ishiro practitioner because this is the sai Tatsuo recommended. Marketing ploy. Don't buy into it, okay? The original sai made by Miyahara on Okinawa had a very different feel from these. Okay, those of you guys out there, senior Ishinru guys, if you felt a pair of Miyahara sais, you'll know they feel different than these. I'm not saying these are no good. They're very good. They're made well. They're solid. I just don't prefer it. I don't like this sai myself, okay? And they're very expensive, okay? Very expensive, okay? So just keep that in mind, all right? So let's talk about Shirado. So here's two different pair of Shirado sai. So this pair right here is chrome. So my first Ishiru instructor, because the sai were chromed by Miyahiro, a lot of the guys got them chromed by Miyahiro in Okinawa, he told me to buy chrome sai. Then when I studied with a Kobudo master, Gakia was like, no, Kobudo masters never use chrome. It's too slippery. So you can't catch the bow with it. It's just not good. So these are old. These sai are roughly 40 years old. 40 years old, okay? And you'll see the quality. They're still like, it looks like they were bought 2 weeks ago, okay? 40 years old, these Shirado sai. These are my wife's, all right? A bunch of people here use them that don't have sai, okay? Great. The wrappings never come undone. 40 years, original pair of Shirado. Okay. Can't get those anymore. Another pair of Shirado. This is another pair you can't get anymore. I was lucky. This pair of sai were given to me by Yosei Yogi Sensei from Mariyoshi Kobudo. Okay, he was nice enough to give me these. These are the two-piece sai. So if you look here, you see this shaft is actually fitted into the handle. I just love these. I love the balance. I love the way they are. Okay, they're fantastic. Okay, we use them a lot. Notice they're not chromed. Okay, so cannot get these anymore. I recently saw pictures of the new sai that Shirado are offering online. They don't look like my Shirado sai at all. Somebody said they purchased a pair. They're really not designed to use for kumi practice. Okay, well, that's a problem because then it's not a real weapon. Okay, I've been banging the hell out of these against bow and whatever else for forever. Okay, and nothing, not a mark on them. Okay, so you want to have a real weapon. All right. I'll just mention this. Years ago when Kemko was around, one of my students bought a pair of Kemko sai. Brought them into my dojo. I had one of my students swing a bow at my head. I blocked with the Kempo sai, and the shaft of the sai just bent right around the bow like that. And I looked at my student. I said, these aren't good. And he brought them back, and the guy said, oh, we mustn't have done the heat treat right. Did it again. Handed them to my student. Said, go back and tell your teacher to give it his best shot. And the first time I blocked the bow, it bent again. And I said, go back and tell him to give you your money back. So again, if the weapon is going to bend or break the first time it's used in combat, that's a problem, okay? Whether it's a sword, a sai, it makes no difference, okay? So you want the weapons to be quality, all right? Now, something I want to mention, there's a lot of other weapons makers out there. If I don't have your product, I'm not going to mention you because I haven't seen your product, you know? If someone wants to send me their product to do a review video, I'll be happy to do that. I'm not looking for free stuff, don't care. But as you can see, I have so many weapons, I don't really need to buy anything else, all right? But if you would like me, if you say, hey, if we send you some weapons, will you do a review? Yeah, and I'll give you an honest review. You know, simple as that. I'll give you 100% honest review, all right? I know there's some guys making, other guys making Tonfa, Nunchaku, Tekko, and that's great. I wish we had more guys making stuff, all right? So let's talk about one more company with the sai. And this is Dream Metal Kobudo, okay? Dream Metal Kobudo are the sai are the closest you're going to get to Shirado, all right? This is a pair this is the pair I bought to check out. So I invested in a pair to see because we were looking, we couldn't get sai from Shirado anymore. Again, I don't understand how Shirado screws that up. For a long time, they're the only game in town, and then they blow it. And then for years, you can't get sai. And now the sai they're producing, I wouldn't get a pair. I wouldn't buy it, okay? Again, don't go just by the name. You've got to know that the weapon is actually really good. But Dream Metal, his stuff is great. A bunch of my students here have them. All of my students here, as a matter of fact, have a Dream Metal sai. I brought this one I just want to try because I'd never seen it with the wood handle. Yeah, I don't know if I would get these again. I think the rope is better, but I'd never seen the wood handle, so I figured I'd give it a shot. And these are the sai I use when I travel. So when I travel, I take these with me. Why? If God forbid they get lost, they lose my luggage, somebody steals them, okay, I can replace these. I cannot replace those two pair of Shirado because they're not made anymore. Okay. So I try to only travel with weapons that I can replace. If I can't replace it, I don't do it. All right. So Dream Metal, highly recommend. Highly recommend. Okay. He's out of Greece. You got to wait a little bit. It might take you a couple of months to get your order, but well worth it. All his stuff is quality. My only problem with one of the things he makes is his shield. So his shield is very small. It's very small. It's similar to, and it's, so that is not small. So when we get to the shields, I'll show you what I mean. So if you're a Matayoshi Kobudo practitioner, his shield is okay. You might be better off making your own. Okay. And I'll talk about that when I show you the shields. Okay. So that's it with the sai. All right. And again, after this video, if you have questions, just shoot me a message, email, whatever, comment, and I'll try to reply. All right. Okay. Let's talk Nunti. Okay. So this is a Shiredo Nunti. Okay. I want to say this Shiredo Nunti is 41 or 42 years old. Okay. So, I'll give you a close-up. You can see there's a little bit of pitting, but again, it's 42 years old, okay? I use this all the time. We have a few different Nunti kata in Matayoshi Kobudo. It's great. I know Weapons Connection was making a Nunti also. It's made a little different from this, but their Nunti's not bad either. A little heavy for my taste, but the Weapons Connection Nunti is not terrible, okay? So this one from Shiredo is fantastic. Like I said, 42 years. This isn't loose. It's still as solid as the day I got it. It's great. And again, what's nice about these older Shiredo weapons is, which I'll show you in a minute when we get to the bows, is the grain in the older wood is just so different. It's just so much better. So definitely highly recommend the Shiredo Nunti. If they're still making them. I guess they are. I don't know, but if they are, okay. So Shiredo Nuntis, fantastic. Okay, let's talk about Eiku, Bodor. So we've got two of them here. This is a Shiredo one. Okay, great. The Shiredo Bodor is fantastic. I like the size of it. Okay, this is a century one, so it's a little shorter, as you can see when we back out and compare. So you see it's about 8 inches shorter than the other one. But again, as a first weapon, it's not as expensive. Okay, the Shiredo ones are, more expensive. All right. It's not terrible. And sometimes I think they do have a longer one available. So you could see, but not terrible from Century. All right. Again, you can look around for these. The big thing with the Shiredo, it's got the bevel on the one edge and then the other side is rounded. All right. But this is a great weapon. I just like the weight. I like everything about it. So again, highly recommend the Shiredo Bodor. However, if you can't afford that, this isn't the end of the world. The Century one's not bad. It's got the bevel on the front. It's got the rounded on the back. It's just a little smaller, a little lighter. Okay. But it's not bad for a first Bodor. So if you have students that can't afford the better quality weapon, there's nothing wrong with this for them to start. Okay, absolutely nothing wrong with it. All right, so. All right, let's talk about the shields. So, I'll show you the Matayoshi shield first. So, I'll just show you this as an aside, okay? So if you see that date in there, it says Y Gakia, September 2001. So we all know what happened in September of 2001, 9/11. That was when we were supposed to have the first Gashuku with Gakia Sensei and Yogi Sensei coming to teach in New York. Obviously that hit, we had to cancel. So we moved it up and we had it in the following spring of 2002 and they came back, great success, great seminar, everything was great. But when Gakia came back, he brought me this as a gift. Okay, this is steel, okay? It's heavy, okay? So as you can see, Gakia Sensei made this himself. So he used one of the rattan bows, right? And this is made out of tubing, all right? And there's wire through here, as you can see, okay, drilled holes. and my arm goes through here, and then I grab this. Now this bad boy's a shield, and it's heavy, it's solid. So when you block something, it can take it. Okay, that's the traditional way that the Mariyoshi shields are painted. Okay, so he also took rubber, and as you can look close, you'll see there's wire drilled through, and that's how he attached the rubber all the way around. So it's not the sharp edge of the shield. Okay, so again, custom made for me by Gakia Sensei. All right. Fred Lowe's had managed to get a bunch of aircraft aluminum like this, very similar to the other shield. You can see, okay? So I still have 2 more of these. I'm gonna make 2 more shields. So I just changed it up a little bit from Gakia. I used a little bit different, right? But you can see it's the same thing, right? I use the rattan. You see the bolts are through here, okay? This is painted with the Calandra coat of arms. Okay, that's why it's painted in this pattern. All right, and I've had this for years. This one's light, but it can take a shot. I mean, use it against the rattan bows and other weapons. It works great. All right, so you can make a shield. All right, I'm sure you could get these blanks, these aluminum blanks from probably Amazon if I had to guess. There seems to be everything on there. Okay, and then you can make one yourself. All right, and for all I know, there's probably a YouTube video out there of some guy making these shields. Okay, but that's the shield. All right, so obviously bigger than the turtle shell one that they use in Ryukyu Kobudo, but that's the story with that. Okay, let's talk about Sansetsukon. Okay, this Sansetsukon here is with the rattan, but I bought this in Shiredo. I believe the last time I was there, I think 2016, I bought this one at Shiredo. Again, don't know if they're still making them. Okay, little heavy. Gakia Sensei was not a fan of the metal connectors. He wasn't a fan of that. He said he just didn't like it. But again, great weapon. It's held up great. You know, again, the Shiredo stuff is quality. The issue now is the sai. We're just not seeing the sai made like they used to be made. Okay, this Sansetsukon was made for me by Gakia Sensei and given to me the same year he gave me the shield. Okay, this one he made himself. All right, and you can see connected. Okay, this is held up great. So this is the one I use mostly for practice. I do have a Shiredo Sansetsukon with red oak, and it's an old one. I've probably had it. Again, I think I probably have it 42 years. I've had it a long, long time, okay? On occasion, I'll break it out, but it's so heavy. And this weapon is speed. It's gotta be light. You don't want it to be too heavy. If it's too heavy, the guy can move right in on you, okay? So usually I practice with this, okay? You do have ones like this. This one I think is from, again, Century. It has the chain connectors, and it's again made out of rattan. And this one's light too. You know, I'm not a fan of the chain and the swivel. All right, I prefer the rope. Okay, so again, but for cost, this isn't bad. But again, you can make yourself one, and you just make yourself a Sansetsukon. Okay, using the rattan, and then you can use it for kumi practice, partner practice, and you use it for kata. Okay, so Gakia Sensei, I can tell you now, when he taught me the Sansetsukon kata, the one that Mariyoshi Sensei taught him, not the one you see everybody do, I learned with the red oak Shiredo Sansetsukon, and he was using the other one I had. And that Shiredo one, I was hitting myself and beating myself up because it's so heavy. And you're doing these big swings and big swings and big swings. And I felt like my arm was going to fall off. So he told me, he grabbed the Shiredo one. He says, no good, too heavy, which is the same thing he said about the Shiredo Kama. So again, even though Shiredo, the quality is great, the quality on the Sansetsukon is great, it's too heavy. It's too heavy and clunky, okay? And the same with the Kama. They're too heavy, okay? They're too heavy. They're not easy to wield, okay? So you're better off going to the hardware store and getting them, okay? All right, Let's talk about Twifa, Tonfa, Tonfa. Okay? So, let's talk about these first. Okay. So these are made of compressed bamboo. Compressed bamboo. I have 2 pairs of them here. We have more pairs of them in the New York school. Okay. These are what we use for kumi. Unbelievable. These are over 25 years old. We've been beating the hell out of them. Barely a dent on them. Okay. If anybody can find someone that's selling these still, let me know. I want to buy more of them. Okay. But I don't think they're making them anymore. And again, just not marketed right. Okay. They should have been marketed as, okay, these are what you use for your partner practice. They don't break, they don't dent, they last forever. Okay. But again, they're still made out of bamboo, so eventually they're probably going to go, and I'm going to have to figure something else out. But highly recommend these. All right. Would love to buy more. So if anybody knows of a company that's making the compressed bamboo, Twifa, drop me a line and let me know. I'd love to order more. Okay. Kemco. Kemco Purple Heart. Okay. Their Twifa, what can I say? Excellent. Okay. Excellent. All right. Same with their other wood weapons. The only weapon, again, I had a problem with was their sai. Okay. But these, again, are 25, 30 years old. Okay. Purple Heart, they're great. All right. They're great. Again, you can't get them anymore. All right. But another word, I only use the round. When I was in Shiredo one time with Gakia Sensei, I was going to get myself a new pair of Twifa. I reached up and picked the square off. He walked over, took them out of my hands, hung them up, and took the round off and said, Kobudo master use round. Now I understand why. It's better for deflection, okay? It's better for deflection, okay? The other ones have an edge. But again, personal preference. You like the square? Knock yourself out, okay? But I use the round, okay? So that's the Purple Heart Kemco. Again, sadly, company's no longer there, but I just figured I'd share those with you. Okay, so now, this is Shiredo. Shiredo Twifa. Excellent, okay? Only thing I'm noticing with the newer ones, handle loosens up. Like this handle's loose. I'm going to have to fix it. Okay? That's the only thing. So a little, my older Shiredo ones that I had, the handles didn't loosen up so easy, all right? But again, Shiredo, excellent quality, okay? This is the best pair of Twifa I've ever had. Ever. Okay? So, these were made by Les Parker, a gentleman in Colorado. We ordered probably about 15 custom-made pair. You could get the type of cap you wanted, all right, the wood, all right. I've been using these for, it's got to be going on 15, 20 years. The handles have never loosened up. Now, again, I use them for kata. I'm not dropping that money on a custom-made pair of Twifa and destroying them against bow. No, I use my compressed bamboo ones for that. And if they go, I'll just buy cheapos and use those, okay? These, unbelievable. I don't know if Les is still around, Les Parker. I have no idea, okay? But the best Twifa I've ever gotten made. The best. 15 to 20 years. The handle is as solid as the day I got them. It's just unbelievable, okay? So, and we all in New York, whenever we talk about it, we all say, man, that was the best investment we ever made. So fantastic. I don't know if he's still around. I don't know if someone else picked up the baton. Maybe someone could look into it if someone knows him after seeing this video. You know, so just keep that in mind, all right? That great Twifa, okay? Dream Metal Kobudo's Twifa, great, okay? You want to get a good pair of Twifa? You can get a good pair of Twifa from Dream Metal Kobudo. I know there's other guys making them. I haven't seen your pair. I haven't picked up a pair. If I haven't seen them, I can't say anything about them, okay? So just keep that in mind. Bow. So let's start off with rattan. Okay, this rattan bow is from Shiredo in Okinawa. I ordered a lot of them about 25 years ago, okay? They last for a really long time. This is still from that batch, okay? This is what we use for kumi, okay? It's not a soft rattan. It's hard. It has a skin on it, okay? These are the new ones I got recently from a cane supply. And you can talk to your cane supply and tell them what you're using them for. These are great also. The students have been using them. They really like them. A little thicker than these, but still very good, okay? And they seem to be holding up well. This is what you want to use for kumi, okay? I don't understand why people want to use hardwood bows for kumiwaza. And please, don't tell me, oh, well, because I want to use a real weapon. Okay, this is a real weapon too. If I smoke you in the temple with a rattan bow, you're going to have a problem, okay? Plus, why do you want to be spending that money? Broken bows, broken bows, broken bows. These don't get splinters, okay? And they don't break. We've never broken one. And believe me, when we get cooking with these in a dojo, you can smell the rattan. You can smell it like it's burning because we're moving and putting so much oomph, okay? So we want the rattan is good. You get them from a cane supply. I don't know if Shureido's still supplying these, but if they are, the shipping's crazy. So you want to go cane supply. I ordered them recently. It was reasonable, okay? So they're great. These are great, all right? So that's for kumi practice. This is a white oak octagon bow, okay? I bought it years ago from Honda Martial Arts in New York City. I don't even know if they're there anymore. That used to be owned by Henry Cho, who's sadly no longer with us. But this bow, white oak, quality, unbelievable, okay? I don't practice with it as much as I used to, but on occasion I do take it out and practice my kata with the octagon bow, just because it's got a different feel, okay? Great bow, all right? Incredible craftsmanship on this. I mean, it's unbelievable. This bow is over 40 years old, okay? It's over 40 years old. And it looks like I bought it yesterday, all right? So I think it was made by Takedo. I think, but I could be wrong. But I know I purchased it at Honda Martial Arts, all right? So octagon white oak bow, great, okay? So, okay. So this is a training bow we use here in this dojo, and we also have one in New York. It's aluminum. Probably weighs about 6 or 7 pounds, okay? It's pretty heavy, all right? The funny thing is you'll see the kids even take this out. So even some of the 8, 9, 10-year-olds will take this out, and they'll try doing their bow kata with this, just to work on, again, you do a bow kata with this, and then you pick up the wood bow, even a good solid wood bow, and it feels like nothing, okay? So again, this is something you could probably look into getting, all right? The other way you can make this is a pipe and fill the pipe with sand and then just cap it on both sides. Threaded pipe, both sides, fill it with sand. And now you got yourself a nice heavy training tool, all right? So that's something we use here in this dojo. I use that on a regular basis, okay? All right. Let's talk about these two Shureido bows. So I just want you to look at the difference in the color of these two Shureido bows, okay? This Shureido bow is minimum of 42 years old. This Shureido bow is only about 10 years old. And when you look at the grain on this, the grain is so tight, it's crazy. Now also this Shureido bow was one of the bigger ones they used to make. They used to make 2 sizes, so this is the thicker one. This is the thinner size, okay? They're tapered, okay? I prefer a straight bow when I do my bow kata, but I still practice with this one on occasion, and I also even practice with this one on occasion, all right? But the quality of this one that I'm holding here, the grain, the tightness of it, the density of this bow, it's just unbelievable. I mean, so you can see the difference in the quality. Not a knock on Shureido, it's just that the trees, they're using younger trees, and the grain is just not as tight, all right? But again, I wouldn't use a Shureido bow against a sai. I'm not going to spend $100 and something on a bow and then beat it up the first time a sai hits it. No. So I use these for kata, okay? This one, again, I wish you could feel it and see the difference in the grain, because it's like night and day, all right? So again, Shureido bows, you can't go wrong with. They're great. Okay, so can't go wrong with it. Okay, this bow is from Kensho. Kensho International. Kensho.international.com. Ippei maybe, I'm not sure of the wood. I ordered a pair of sai from Kensho for my student, Wyatt, and I said to him, hey, I'd like to get a bow. He goes, oh, I have a bow. It's got a little bit of a blemish. I'll give you a break on it. I said, okay, right? I don't know where the blemish is. I couldn't find it. I mean, I love this bow. So Kensho International, they're out of, I think, Washington State, all right? Their sai are excellent also. So another company where, if you want to buy here, Kensho sai, they're great, okay? Highly recommend them also. Again, because I've used them, all right? My student bought a pair and I was using them, all right? But again, like I said, the last batch we ordered, we did order from Dream Metal, but the Kensho sai are great too, okay? Their bow, fantastic. I haven't seen a pair of their Tonfa or their Nunchaku, can't comment on those, but this bow I love, okay? And he's got things available in different woods, okay? So you can look at Kensho International, all right? So again, that's basically a breakdown of the Kobudo weapons. So let me show you a couple of other things just to... Okay, so we can take a look at these Tonfa. And as you can see, they kind of look a little different, right? They don't look as perfectly made. Well, because they're made by hand. These are a pair of Taira Shinken's Tonfa, all right? So these were given to Toguchi Sensei, one of Miyagi Sensei's students in Goju-ryu, who passed them on to Bob Tayani, okay? Sadly, Toguchi and Tayani Sensei are no longer with us. Tayani Sensei gave them to me. He wasn't into Kobudo. He didn't teach Kobudo anymore. So he gave them to me because he knew I did Kobudo. So these are a pair of Taira Shinken's Tonfa. And if you look in Taira's book, you'll see he thanks Toguchi Sensei. Toguchi Sensei was one of his sponsors, okay? And again, if you were here and felt these, you'll see they're not 100% exact, each one. The handle, the way it's made, you can see it's made by hand, okay? So these are a little bit older, but again, they're in fantastic condition. So these are a pair of Taira Shinken's Tonfa that I just thought I'd share with you and show you, okay? I also have a Joe in the corner that was given to me by Yogi Sensei. It was a Joe that belonged to Matayoshi Shimpo Sensei. So I'm lucky in regards. I have, some of these weapons that were owned by some famous Kobudo masters. All right, I'm lucky to be in possession of some of them. All right, so this is a pair of Kama. This is from that same company, Bud K, the Hanshu. A little bit different design. Okay, I do practice the Kamakata with these on occasion. All right, these are heavy. These are designed to be used. Okay, these are a weapon. So whereas the hardware store ones, they were never intended to be a weapon, but that's where the Kama come from. These were designed as a weapon, okay? A little bit getting used to using these, a little heavier, okay? But again, from Bud K, you can get them. The company, the brand is Hanshu, and they make these. I have a pair of these, and what's nice is the sheaths that come with them are great. Heavy leather, so you can't cut yourself, and so that's that. So again, a lot of weapons, all right? We talked about a lot of different things, about the quality, all right? I'm sure there's other companies out there making really solid weapons, I'm sure. But again, if I haven't held a pair in my hand or used them myself, I'm not gonna critique them, okay? Again, normally you can't go wrong with Shiredo, except for their sai, their Kama, and their Sansetsukon. Dream Metal Kobudo is great. Everything they're making is great. I'm just not a fan of their shields. They're a little small for the Matayoshi, okay? But some of the weapons you can make, it just takes a little bit of time, Sansetsukon and things like that. So again, these are the various weapons, all right? Some of the companies I use and that I recommend. Sadly, some of the stuff I have, you can't get anymore. The company doesn't exist. In Shiredo's case, they have a different sai maker now, and from what I've seen, it's not the same. Doesn't look anything like the old pairs of Shiredo sai that I have. So, hope this video has helped. Hope it's given you some ideas for some things. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment or shoot me an email, and I'll be happy to respond. All right. So thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.